The automation of society has been underway for a very long time, slowly detaching humanity from their hands-on involvement over a system of control which they will ultimately become slaves to. When people give up their independence to interact within a community of proactive human participants, embracing instead a society of automatons serving an artificially created management system, their social cohesive skills will deteriorate to a point where the purpose of their overall existence comes into question. Some of us are not human beings having a spiritual experience, but spiritual beings having a human experience. And to dilute traditional three-dimensional ways in which we interact will ultimately trap us within a controlling web of artificial intelligence which will undermine our connection to spiritual consciousness, essentially detaching us from the Creator. 5G is the fifth generation of digital cellular network technology, designed to improve all forms of digital communication with greater speed when accessing the Internet. To achieve this, a wider spectrum of bandwidths are being made available for transmitting and receiving data. Utilizing higher frequencies within the lower realms of the infrared spectrum, known as microwaves. Although these frequencies are generally considered safe when emitting non-ionizing radiation, the potential for biological and cellular damage is becoming a growing concern. While microwave ovens utilize microwave technology to cook food, the level of power used to achieve this is enormous compared to the microwaves used within 5G technology. However, the accumulative and long-term effects on human health is unknown. It is already well documented in scientific research papers that the existing technology of 3 and 4G have already contributed to a number of health issues.
I'm Sharon Goldberg. I'm an internal medicine physician. I've practiced medicine for 21 years, and my background is mostly academic internal medicine, hospital-based, clinical research, and medical education. I am going to skip many of the things I wanted to say because I didn't realize it was only 5 minutes. Wireless radiation has biological effects, period. This is no longer a subject for debate when you look at PubMed and the peer-reviewed literature. These effects are seen in all life forms: plants, animals, insects, microbes. In humans, we have clear evidence of cancer now. There is no question. We have evidence of DNA damage, cardiomyopathy, which is the precursor of congestive heart failure, neuropsychiatric effects. So 5G is not a conversation about whether or not these biological effects exist. They clearly do. There are 4 kinds of electromagnetic fields that we know are harmful to human health. So radio frequency radiation, magnetic fields, dirty electricity, and electric fields, okay? Our exposure, any given person, and all humans are affected by EMFs. Our given exposure has nothing to do with the research that my colleagues are going to cite with the National Toxicology Program. That is an assessment of the risk of 1 cell phone in the near field, okay? What is our exposure in a day? It's not 1 cell phone. It's cell phones, it's multiple wireless networks, it's smart meters, it's cell towers. It's this sandwich, and it all adds up. And this is a serious problem for occupational health, public safety, and personal safety. And I feel that it's irresponsible to be even talking about the Internet of Things and rolling out a new untested technology when we're not even measuring What are our current exposures from the current networks?
In my judgment, we already have clear evidence for elevations in brain and other cancers resulting from excessive exposure to mobile phone, Wi-Fi and other sources of electromagnetic fields. There has not been adequate study of the adverse effects of electromagnetic fields in general, and there has been almost no study of the specific higher frequencies to be used in 5G. We are, as a species, about to undergo an experiment where all of us are essentially being used as guinea pigs for the profits of a handful of individuals running the telecommunications corporations. To roll something out on a global scale without adequate testing is akin to playing Russian roulette with the whole human race, an experiment which we may never recover from. After 5G, we should see 6G, an even more sophisticated technological control grid. 6 is of course the number associated with Saturn, the planet of control, restriction, limitation and frustration. When they link all electronic devices along with humanity to their fleet of Saturn lights, there will be nowhere to escape to and nowhere to hide. This will no doubt be rolled out as a countermeasure against all forms of terrorism. It is ironic that the first ever geosynchronous satellite broadcast, which took place back in July 1962, carried pictures of Pope John the 23rd all around the world, a Saturn light which looked more like the Death Star from Star Wars than the satellites we are used to seeing today. Ever since the birth of man, we have lived in tune with nature's rhythms and cycles, responding to the energetic frequencies emanating from our surroundings, together with transits occurring from the magnificent planets and luminaries gracing our solar system. Lately, human arrogance has decided to submerge every one of us in an artificial ocean of electromagnetic pollution. This, in my opinion, is an attack on human consciousness itself, driving into the very heart of who we are. Creating an artificial reality which could potentially replace our natural subconscious collective, which is tethered to the spiritual realm and the Creator. I suggest that the overriding objective of this electromagnetic control grid is to cut us off from our sixth and seventh senses, together with restricting our connection to the spiritual collective, giving us over hook, line and sinker to the artificial machine-like god of the underworld, the Demiurge. One has to wonder, where did this rapid expansion of artificial intelligence technology come from? And why are we in such a hurry to promote it as the solution to all our worldly problems? Could it be that human history has been deliberately distorted to hide the existence of an ancient society once ruled by the Demiurge and his Archons, who were indeed the gods of the ancient world, using our human ancestors as slaves and objects of abuse and amusement? Could it be that the ancient megalithic remains which we see in abundance all over the world, are the remains of this once powerful and materialistic civilization, brought to an end by a global cataclysm which ultimately reset human consciousness, a cataclysm which gave freedom back to humanity as the Creator had intended. A new world order is underway, one which will ultimately outlaw all forms of spirituality, uniting humanity within a technological control grid, a socialistic collective of transhuman automatons, obeying their masters and serving all aspects of the system they help to underpin. United in a material sense, but devoid of nature's divine spark of spiritual diversity.